site. We'll be doing what we can to get all the info as soon as we can, get all the weigh-ins for you. If you miss it, well, I would say if you miss it, you're here. But we'll be telling people later that if they missed it, they can get replays on our socials. But very exciting time, everyone. Curious to see who we're going to see first. Feel free to shout out in the chat who you think is going to come out first. Normally, I would say one of the champions, but I mean, again, it is a heavyweight fight, so there's no real motivation for them to come in early. I'm going to wait a second, guys, for the chat to populate a bit, as we do have some news as well, actually, regarding how the weigh-in protocol is going to be, I mean, a little different from recent events.
Speaking of which, did you notice the big one?
Oh, it's Jose. What's the what? Digital scale. Digital scale. No beam scale, guys. No beam scale. So we are getting precision. We're getting precision weigh-ins here. No, just taking a gander at the scale while it's still shaking and slamming it home. We have robots on deck today. So let's see. One moment, guys.
God bless you.
Must be a commission guy. Like development.
All right, everyone. We're a moment away from our first fighter weighing in. As you'll say, in digital scale, correct. We have got the digital scale. I see some duck emojis in there. Can't imagine what that's referring to.
Yes, it's gone.
So I will tell you guys now. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I will tell you guys now that if you're used to remember, the 2 hour fighters have 2 hours to weigh in. It will be 2 hours weighing in. Recently, events have had they encourage fighters to all come in the first hour. Now it looks like they're going back to the older, more familiar weigh-in rules. So we got old weigh-in rules. We got old gloves. It looks like we're about to begin.
I didn't think it was terrible. They got rid of it. It was like the exact He's tried for years to get the company business.
Appreciate it.
Is that AK Lee?
It is AK Lee. Have you prepared your questions for Jonathan Diniz?
Jose's got a great angle here, so we are going to know firsthand. We're going to know before everyone else who is stepping to the scale. Who's hiding back there? I bet
thank you all for being here for the
Michael
official
Chandler.
weigh-in for
Michael Chandler's coming out first. That's my
Jon Jones versus Miocic, and we begin with one half of the co-main event in the UFC lightweight division. Number 7 ranked contender, former world title challenger, Iron Michael Chandler. $155.6, the official weight for Michael Chandler. All right, next athlete to the stage, weighing in as a backup for our heavyweight championship main event. He is the interim UFC heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall.
Let's go, Tom! Come on!
$254.8, the official weight for Tom Aspinall. All right, next fighter to the scale, charged with kicking off the main card live on pay-per-view, competing tomorrow night at a catch weight of 165 pounds, Mauricio Ruffy. $164.4, the official weight for Mauricio Ruffy.
Yeah, it's a last-minute fight.
All right, next athlete to weigh in this morning, competing in a prelim live on ESPN Plus in the women's flyweight division, Eduarda Mura.
She's here.
Actually pretty fit. Wait, not much with it.
125.2, the official weight for Eduarda Mura. All right, next athlete to the stage, also competing in the women's flyweight division, live on pay-per-view, the number 11 ranked contender, Karine Killer Silva. $125.8, the official weight for Karine Silva. All right, next fighter up, competing in the heavyweight division, Jhonata Diniz. $253.2, the official weight for Jhonata Diniz. All right, next fighter to the scale this morning, oncoming force in the UFC bantamweight division and competing in the featured prelim live on ESPN News, McGhee.
The emissary of the Gorgon. Emissary of the Gorgon.
Marcus McGhee needing the box of redemption here, so we'll see how this goes.
$135.6, the official weight for Marcus McGhee.
135.6, no problem. No problem.
All right, next man to the scale, competing in a prelim in the lightweight division, he is Damon the Leech Jackson.
Here comes Damon Jackson. Sorry, I'm not chattier, guys. I'm waiting for this rush of weigh-ins to come in. You don't need to hear me anyway. You just want to know how much these guys weigh.
155.2, the official weight for DJ Damon Jackson. All right, next fighter to weigh in, competing in a featured bout live on pay-per-view in the middleweight division, 18-time UFC veteran Paul Bear Jew Craig. $186, the official weight for Paul Craig. right, next fighter to weigh in, competing in the welterweight division and repping Bronx, New York, Ramiz Brahimaj.
That's nice. I do like the facial skill better.
170.2, the official weight for Ramiz Brahimaj.
170.2 for Ms. Brahimaj. We'll have a full recap for you guys when we get a
Our
chance
next
here.
fighter to hit the scale, the other half of our featured prelim in the bantamweight division, the number 13 ranked contender, Jonathan Martinez. $135.8 for Jonathan Martinez. All right, next fighter to the scale, the man many have come out to see. He is the former undisputed UFC middleweight champion, the All-American Chris Weidman. $186, the official weight for the former champ, Chris Weidman. All right, next fighter to weigh in, competing in a prelim in the lightweight division, he is David Onama. $155.6, the official weight for David Onama.
155.6 for Onama. Returning to lightweight, his opponent, this fight was thrown together pretty short notice, so Onama, it was going to be a featherweight bout before, but Onama now fighting, I'm getting mixed up, Roberto Romero. Roberto Romero coming in on like 5 days notice, so this is a lightweight bout. Probably good for Onama too, he's actually struggled with featherweight himself, so fighting at 155 pounds every now and then might not be a bad idea for the guy. Very talented fighter. It looks like we have a little bit of a break. I have a feeling it won't be a long one, guys, but just for anyone tuning in, we have not seen Jon Jones or Stipe Miocic yet. Not surprising, it is a heavyweight bout. You rarely see heavyweights come out first. Though, the true #1 heavyweight in the world, Tom Aspinall, did successfully win. He is the backup, of course, for Saturday's main event. Tom Aspinall came in 254.8, and we have one half of the co-main events, the lightweight rematch between Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler came in at 155.6. As of now, we really only have one fight that is a great bantamweight bout between Jonathan Martinez and Marcus McGhee. Martinez 135.8. Marcus McGhee 135.6, and McGhee came out using the box of redemption. Maybe their scale was a little different because he came in, 0.4 of a pound under the bantamweight limit. But better safe than sorry. He made weight, doesn't matter. Hopefully everyone's okay, and that fight will go forward as scheduled. But yeah, we are still waiting on several other fighters. We've seen at least one half of almost every fight, except again for the main event, and a preliminary welterweight bout between Basil Hafez and Oban Elliott. How's everyone doing out there in TV land? What are you guys up to on this this Friday morning? Friday morning, everywhere. I'm gonna say probably super early for you guys on the West Coast if you guys are tuning in. Of course, also shout outs to anyone tuning in from around the world. It's probably a little bit later in the day for you. And for us on the East Coast, where I am, where Jose is, right in there at just a little past 9. So let us know how you guys are doing. I am going to get a graphic ready, guys, for you to see who has showed up. But let me let you guys know in the chat what's up first. Hold on one second. There you go, guys. Just had to pin a comment on the chat, just for anyone who's just not sure if Jon Jones or Stipe have come in yet. So hopefully people will see that. Big Marcel, what's up, Big Marcel? My BTL partner. Good to see you. John PN, AK, can you convince Mike to do the Stipe victory dance on watch party tomorrow if Stipe wins? I don't think it's gonna take much convincing. I think I don't know what's gonna happen to us as a community. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to us as a community if Stipe wins, because I'm not prepared for it. It'll also be like, it's like a river dance type thing, right? So I'm sure it'll be some homage also to Red Sox closer. One time Red Sox closer Jonathan Papelbon, who also kind of did that back in the day. I feel sick even bringing up the Red Sox success, but there it is. Jose, don't chime in, please.
Don't need to.
I'm cutting it out. Okay.
Ring speak.
It says I'm cutting it out. Yeah, guys, I apologize. I'm cutting in and out. I think that's probably an issue on my end, actually,
Yeah,
not
is.
Jose's end. So, yeah, it's just the Wi-Fi in my building. Dr. Plague 2021. Did Mike Tyson win? I mean, didn't we all win just by this fight actually happening tonight? We'll see. We do have Paul versus Tyson, or Tyson versus Paul, however you like it. That will be on tonight, and MMA Fighting will have all that coverage for you. If you don't have Netflix, or if you're a
there's a ton of them
decent human being and just have no interest in watching the fight, we'll have you covered, guys. MMAfighting.com. We got live updates, the undercard, main event, highlights, you name it. If you guys want photos, it's not MMA Fighting, but the majestic Esther Lynn is there on site for Most Valuable Promotion. So if you've been seeing some great photos from the event, from the lead up to Paul versus Tyson, some of those are Esther Lynn joins, and you'll know, because she's the best. So definitely huge shout out to Esther Lynn, our friend and pal, and the GOAT of combat sports photography. All right, guys. I see I got some sound issues. Again, it's probably just the Wi-Fi in my building. There's really not a lot I can do, guys. It'll probably just have to fix itself. But
Staples or crypto, whatever it's called. What they do, they wouldn't have like this stuff here. It'd be at the fighter hotel, and the other stuff would be probably, I don't know. It wouldn't be at crypto though. It's pretty good Weston at the airport. I'd probably just end up staying there. Yeah. Yeah. We're in Long Beach, we just stay.
How many duck comments are we getting?
Oh, big rig out there?
not that many. Most of it is just about my audio being junk. So I'm just getting that sorted out. I'm sending you a graphic, Jose. Let's see if we get this graphic out there and summons the next fighter.
I'll get it up in a second. I'm currently blasting out Michael Chandler and Tom Aspinall clips across the board.
Sure.
And
yep.
as you say it, John Anik stands up with his microphone the second you sent it over.
There we go. That's what we want to see.
All right, next fighter to the scale, one of the gentlemen around whom this fight card was built, the former two-time UFC heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic. .248.6, the official weight for the former two-time champ Stipe Miocic.
That was 248.6, guys.
All right, next fighter to the scale,
248.6.
competing in a prelim on ESPN News in the middleweight division, Eryk, your boy Anders. .185.6, the official weight for your boy Eryk Anders.
And cut.
Stay in the back.
How much do you put on? Still. Every UFC event's going to be travel out on the Monday now. Travel out on the Monday, start working on Tuesday.
It's already booking flights. It's training.
I'm just checking what's available for you here.
I'm the same way. I'm always watching.
Yeah. And birds on auto, for sure.
Up here are the duck emojis. Listen, guys, you know, I may be moderating the chat, but if you guys want to put duck emojis in there because you love ducks, I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you. I'm you know, I'm not criticizing any fighter who may or may not be fighting on Saturday's card. People like ducks. Guys, we got one more fight official there. That was Eryk Anders, who we just saw weigh in. He came in at 185.6. Chris Weidman, his opponent, came in earlier, 186 pounds. So that preliminary bout is official. And we also saw Stipe Miocic, 248.6. We're still waiting for Jon Jones. I'm pretty sure he'll be one of the last guys to weigh in.
All right, next fighter
He's
to
gonna be
the
on
scale,
what's the rush?
competing live on the pay-per-view main card, the number 9 ranked women's flyweight contender, Viviane Araujo. .125.6, the official weight for Viviane Araujo.
That was 125.6 for Viviane Araujo. And her fight with Karine Silva is now official. Our first main card bout, I think, to have both fighters weigh in. Yes. We're still waiting on Jon Jones, Charles Oliveira, Bo Nickal, and James Llontop, just on the main card. We also have several preliminary fighters, of course. Jim Miller, still yet to weigh in. He will be making his 45th UFC appearance.
Interesting.
I want you guys to think about that for a second. Jim Miller, 45 UFC appearances.
With Marriott.
Think about how many fighters never have like 20 fights in their career, much less in the UFC. Or your average fight, I mean, if you, I don't know, your average person to make it to the big show, you get like 7 or 8 fights in the UFC. Jim Miller has fought in the UFC, or will have fought in the UFC after Saturday, 45 times. This man is crazy. He should be getting paid at least $1 million per fight. That's probably less than he deserves. Jim Miller's a legend. UFC Hall of Famer, I don't know. That's a whole other debate. What does it even mean to be, you know, eligible for the UFC Hall of Fame? I don't care. One of the most memorable fighters of my lifetime, that's for sure. And whenever he decides to hang it up, it'll be a sad day, but also we'll be very grateful for everything Jim Miller has done. Anyway, he's fighting Damon Jackson. Sorry, guys, I was waxing poetic there. He's fighting Damon Jackson, another guy who's been in the business forever. Damon Jackson moving back up to lightweight for this fight. It's been a long time since we've seen Damon Jackson 155, but yeah, just a fun matchup. That's what all we want for Jim Miller these days. Other veterans, fun stylistic matchups. No more throwing in there with poor guys who are like making their UFC debut and that he can just destroy. I think that was kind of messed up when that was happening. Damon Jackson has 32 fights overall as a professional, like including all the promotions he's fought for. Damon Jackson has 32 pro fights. Damon Jackson's been fighting since 2012, 12 years. Jim Miller has 45 UFC fights, again.
Yeah.
It's absurd. He also holds a number of other records. It's really just not even enough time to get into all that.
Oscar is very, very upset that he missed Viviane Araujo's weigh-in.
It's so torn. Fuck. Rondo Beach.
What a loser.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
AK
I forgot we're on air.
For missing her.
I forgot we're on air. No, I would never call my colleague
Really?
Oscar Wilson loser.
He's calling
Come
me a
on, you
liar.
Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. That's what I say.
He's calling me a liar because he called you dude.
They had no food.
I think he wants Jake Paul to win.
Apparently you want Jake Paul to win, AK.
I want everyone in life
All right,
to win.
next
So,
fighter
yeah,
to
that's a
the
very
scale,
big-
competing in a prelim in the lightweight division, extending his record
Every time,
to
AK.
45 UFC appearances, Jim Miller. $155.6, the official weight for Jim Miller.
That was 155.6 for the legend Jim Miller. UFC appearance 45. I know, I can't shut up about it. I know I've said it so many times, but it's unbelievable.
Let's filter in some shit.
You know what? Let's do some good. Shout outs to Jim Miller, and give us some of your favorite Jim Miller moment. Win or lose. Give us some of your favorite Jim Miller moments, because here today, gone tomorrow, guys. You don't know. He doesn't talk about retirement, but I mean, who knows? This could be his last fight. He could fight 5 more times. I'm pretty sure he wants to get to 50 UFC fights. That's probably a nice number for him to go out on. But I don't know. Like, listen, he's a human being. He can't sit around for an arbitrary number. So we'll see what he decides. Donald Cerrone, I mean, wanted to get to 50 combined WEC UFC fights, and he couldn't quite make it. He is coming back. I mean, he is coming back with that goal in mind, allegedly. But it's very hard to do. So if Jim Miller, if that's his goal, great. If he makes it, amazing. If he doesn't make it, no regrets. Again, he is already the leader for most appearances in UFC history, and every time he shows up, he has just been extending that record. So great stuff there. But yeah, his fight with Damon Jackson, for now, is official.
Waka waka,
Wyatt, have you guys heard that? Was that Oscar singing the one of the former World Cup theme? That was
Oscar singing the former World Cup theme, yes.
Yeah, by the divine Shakira.
That's one way to put it.
That's why I welcome it.
All right, next fighter to the scale,
Every
competing
time,
in a
AK.
prelim in the
Every time.
welterweight division,
Good.
Mickey Gall.
Jensen? No way. No way.
170.8, the official weight for Greenbrook, New Jersey's Mickey Gall.
$170.8 for Mickey Gall. And a little New Jersey versus New York matchup with Basel Hafez, who also successfully made. Oh, sorry, Basel Hafez. Ramiz Brahimaj, guys. Ramiz Brahimaj. 170.2. Mickey Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Excuse the name mix up there. Apologies to Ramiz and Basel. It was a terrible mistake to make. So we have actually not seen Basel Hafez or his opponent Oban Elliott. That is the only fight where we haven't had at least one fighter weigh in. That is a welterweight bout. So fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. There's no issues going on there. We are still very early in the weigh-in window. For anyone just joining, I do want to remind you, as Jose has told me, we are not using the more recent weigh-in protocol. If you guys know about that,
Quite early on.
they've tried to designate the first hour as the official window. So they want everyone to at least come in and make their first attempt in the first hour. And then if they need to weigh in again, then that's what the second hour is for. However, UFC 309 weigh-ins today in New York, they're going with the former weigh-in rules, the older weigh-in rules, where it's just doesn't matter when you show up, it has to be in the 2 hour window. You have the whole thing, and then I guess we'll find out if someone misses weight in the second hour. We'll find out if they get additional time with clearance from a doctor to make weight. So, again, if you've been watching recent weigh-ins, they've been going pretty quickly. You have pretty much 95% of the fighters show up in the first hour. That may not be the case today, and they are not obligated to show up in the first hour. So if you don't see someone show up early, don't be alarmed. It doesn't mean anything. They have a full 2-hour window to step to the scale.
Newark? Oh, you're in LaGuardia? You Newark or LaGuardia? Hope you didn't start tearing the form last night. Yeah, I know, you had to. You had to.
There you go, AK.
Thank you, Jose. Sorry, guys. I was probably heard some very, very loud typing there. I just want to also put in the comments, I'll pin a comment there in case people don't see it. All right, guys. There's your graphic up there. Fancy stuff. Fancy stuff. As you can see, we only we did it again.
ESPN Plus in the women's flyweight division, Veronica Hardy.
That's so funny.
.8, the official weight for Veronica Hardy.
That was 125.8 for Veronica Hardy, the queen of the preliminary opener. Her bout is now official with Eduarda Moura, who came in 125.2. Moura had been competing at straw weight, but had trouble with that weight cut, so here she is at flyweight.
Oh, really?
She told her own Guilherme Cruz, speaking of Moura, not Hardy, Eduarda Moura told our Guilherme Cruz she's not closing the door on 115. She's going to try and figure out how to do her weight cut a little more efficiently, and hopes to return to the strawweight division. As of now, she is in the flyweight opener of this card. Veronica Hardy has done almost nothing but be in flyweight openers recently since coming back to the UFC. And she keeps winning. She keeps winning. She beat Juliana. Let me just get this correct here. Yes, Veronica Hardy opened up the last 3 cards she was on and is on a 3-fight win streak over JJ Aldrich, Jamie Lynn Horth, and Juliana Miller. She came back to competition in 2023 after a 3-year hiatus and hasn't lost yet. So all decisions. I don't know if people see her as a contender, but she's doing all right in there. So good stuff for Veronica Hardy. Let's see if she can hold on to her reputation as the UFC prelim opener champion. Why not? We make up titles for everything these days. Why not one for her? All right. So if you guys haven't noticed, we only should put up the graphic once, but we've been trying to get the graphic up constantly. Every time I send Jose the graphic, it brings a fighter out. And that's good. That's great. Our graphic is not as important as getting these guys and gals to the scale. So let's see if it works again. Now that I've said it, I jinxed it, obviously. But let's see if it happens again, guys. I'm going to try and send Jose another graphic. Maybe we can shake loose a little James Llontop. Maybe some Roberto Romero. Maybe one of Oban Elliott or Basel Habez. That'd be nice. Maybe Jon Jones.
And only one on
Maybe
the
Jon
road was in
Jones.
Montreal
Let's see.
that week. No, it'd be pretty simple. If I'm good for it, I'll just ask him. She'll be like, okay. Because then it's just checked off in her book. She doesn't mind, and she's move on to the next.
You just send her a note and say, like,
Hey, yeah, this event's coming up. You
you
gotta
see
do
what
it.
the coach schedule like. See if it's over.
No, I think she'd be okay. If you volunteer for things, like the way her mind works is that this is gonna be an issue for me. Put someone's name on it. Don't have to worry about it. That's true.
Have the vision.
What could they be waiting on?
Waiting glasses.
All right, guys. We'll see if we can get a new graphic up
There's one
soon.
already.
Again, if you're just tuning in, we've got one half of the main event is Stipe Miocic, still waiting on Jon Jones. And the backup, Tom Aspinall, has also successfully weighed in. Fingers crossed he won't be necessary, guys. As much as I know all of us would love to see that Jones-Aspinall fight, and hopefully we still will someday, I am the prince of positivity. I'm hoping that, again, Jones has
But like an arena.
kind of been trolling, but also just, not feeling the need to hype up a fight that
Oh, literally,
isn't booked. He's not looking past Stipe. What's the next one?
literally as I'm about to publish the graphic, John Eryk stands
You're
up on the
joking.
microphone. Dead serious.
We did it again. You guys can thank us for moving this along, guys. Every time we think about putting a graphic on screen, someone comes up to make it outdated, so this rain dance is very effective. Let's see. But anyway, as I was saying, I still, listen, there's a part of me as a fan that still wants to see Jon Jones Stipe. I wish it had happened last year. I think we could have avoided so much drama. If it's unfortunate. John got injured, legit injury, pectoral. I mean, that's
All right, next fighter to the scale.
a lot of guys would
competing
even go
in the
longer.
lightweight division, Roberto Romero.
The newcomer, Roberto Romero. Less than a week's notice. Let's see how he does here.
$155, the official weight for Roberto Romero.
How about that? 155 for Romero. Good for him. It's my understanding he normally competes at featherweight. Let me just double check that, guys. I don't like to lie to America, so I believe Roberto. He's stepping in for Lucas Almeida. Lucas Almeida was forced to withdraw from this contest. Roberto, a former Combate Global standout, 6-1-1 in Combate. And yes, previously competing at featherweight, but he's doing them a favor. He is saving this fight for David Onama, so it was bumped up to 155. And again, I think both guys are going to be okay with this. Again, Roberto Romero coming in on short notice, and David Onama, a pretty pretty big featherweight, having some trouble with that weight cut. So I wonder if Onama will consider sticking around. Either way, 155-pound fight on Saturday. Romero coming in at championship weight. Good for him.
All right, next fighter to hit the scale, competing live on pay-per-view in a featured bout on the main card in the middleweight division, Bo Nickal. $185.4, the official weight for the undefeated Bo Nickal.
That was 185.4 for Bo Nickal. Literally showed up as I sent a dated graphic to Jose. Incredible.
Let's not
I think
even-
I'm gonna do it.
let's
Guys, I'm
not
gonna do
even
it again.
bother anymore.
It's not even impressive anymore. I think we can get Jon Jones if I send the graphic to Jose right now. So guys, give me 1 second. We are getting an updated graphic on screen. I know not all of you were here from the beginning. I know some are wondering who has showed up, what did they weigh in at, who are we still waiting for. I'm getting this on the screen right now. All right, guys, let's see if we can get that up there. I will give you a little verbal update for now. We are still waiting on Jon Jones. We are still waiting on Charles Oliveira. We are still waiting on James Llontop, Marcin, Tybura, Oban, Elliott, and Vasil Hafez. So about 6 guys left. We've had several fights become official. Bo Nickal and Paul Craig have both weighed in. Viviane, Araujo, Karine, Silva both weighed in. Jonathan Martinez, Marcus McGhee. Chris Weidman versus Eryk Anders. Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. David Onama versus Roberto Romero. Mickey Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj. And Veronica Hardy versus Eduarda Mora. Those fights are all on paper official as of now, scheduled to go
Our
down.
next fighter to the scale, the other half of your
there we go.
lightweight co-main event, live on pay-per-view, the former undisputed UFC lightweight champion, Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira. 155.6, the official weight for the former champ, Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira.
$155.6 for Charles Oliveira. Somos Lima, that was 6 fighters left. Now it's 5 fighters left. Yes, Jones, Llontop, Tybura, Elliott, and Hafez, correct. So there we go. Everyone waiting for Jon Jones, of course. Please stick around. I mean, he's old, reliable John. I always call him. But no, I mean seriously, he's weighing in at heavyweight, guys. He's just taking his time. Wouldn't be too worried about it.
So you got candies? All right. You have to give me 1 second, AK, because I'm working up Charles.
No
right now.
rush. No rush. You know once you start, someone's going to come out, so no rush.
Correct.
Michael Harris, Dope Bronx in the Bronx. Well done. Love it. Michael H. Hopefully I'll see Mike Tyson bite someone for a 3rd time live tonight. What a night. Come on. Light FF, Mike Tyson, easy win. People, please don't bet on Mike Tyson. Please don't do this. Really, I would say please don't bet on this Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson at all. It's not.
There you go.
It's not a good fight. Shouldn't be happening. We actually, guys, we've done it. We've got an updated graphic on screen without summoning a fighter to come up. Again, I expect these next 5 will be taking their time. A reminder to everyone, they have the full 2-hour weigh-in window. This is not under the more recent weigh-in rules, where they encourage all the fighters to at least make a first attempt in the first hour. Doesn't matter today. In New York, they're going with show up when you can, 2-hour window.
Competing in a
Stop
prelim
it.
in the heavyweight division, the number 9 ranked contender, Marcin Tybura.
Every time.
.251, the official weight for Marcin Tybura.
All right, we're gonna give it a second.
251 for Marcin Tybura. Yeah, I'm gonna. Don't worry, no rush. 251 for Marcin Tybura fighting Jhonata Diniz, who, yes, you guys, I'm sure in your head you're like, didn't Jhonata just fight? Well, he was supposed to fight, guys. He was supposed to fight in a recent card against Derek Lewis. Unfortunately, Derek Lewis had some sort of medical issue and could not compete, so Jhonata just got bumped back a week or two. And instead of fighting in Edmonton, he is now fighting on a pay-per-view prelim. UFC 309, so kind of a step up for Jhonata, so good for him. Shout out, I mean, no disrespect to Edmonton. Edmonton's fantastic, but we're talking about a fight night versus a pay-per-view, or pay-per-view card, I should say. So that fight, Tybura versus Diniz, is now official. I talked about Jim Miller being, quite the lifer for the UFC. How about Tybura making UFC appearance number 21? He is the 8th heavyweight to have 20 UFC fights. Shout out to Mike Bond and Michael Carroll, of course, over MMA Junkie, who keep up a lot of these good stats. I wish I was thorough enough to keep these stats, but that is a MMA Junkie pre-fight facts stat. He is the 8th heavyweight to have 20 UFC fights. Not an easy thing to do, guys. Not an easy to do. 12-8 UFC record, 25-9 as a pro, 39 years, young. Marcin Tybura, we salute you. If I'm not mistaken, I think we can hear Daniel Cormier, great UFC champion.
Yeah, they are. It's the audio from the weigh-in show. Tom Aspinall.
No problem. Talking to Tom Aspinall, also a great UFC champion. Tom Aspinall doing everything he can, really, to show up and stake a claim to a fight with Saturday's winner. Jon Jones, a heavy favorite, of course. Jon Jones really has been his target for a long time. Jones is the quote-unquote undisputed champion of the UFC after winning a vacant title that was vacated by Francis Ngannou, never lost in the cage. Aspinall hasn't quite had as much to say about Stipe. Not necessarily, I don't think necessarily because he doesn't think Stipe can win, though there's probably some element to that. But Stipe is probably much more closer to retiring should he win on Saturday. Jones, it feels like the door is open for him to still fight. Stipe would probably want to go out on top if he found a way to beat Jon Jones, but again, this is all speculation. Did y'all see Jon Jones not do an interview with Adam Catterall of TNT Sports, UFC on TNT Sports the other day? He did do an interview with the outlet. He was interviewed by, oh my gosh, Nate? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Nick Pete, excuse me. He was interviewed by Nick Pete. Yeah. But if you watch the clip, at least from what we are shown in the clip, it looks like there were no Aspinall questions. It looks like there may have been a do not ask me about Aspinall rule. Adam Catterall, a very good reporter. I think I like him a lot. Yes, he is friends with Tom Aspinall. If you guys have watched any of his interviews with Tom Aspinall, pretty, friendly relationship, pretty friendly interview style.
Yeah.
Does that preclude him from interviewing Jon Jones? I don't think so. And Adam, I thought, released a pretty classy statement on social media.
No, I had to open everything up. Yeah.
I don't think I need to read the whole thing. So yes, just to recap again, you guys didn't see, you can find the footage on MAfighting.com. Jon Jones was supposed to do an interview with TNT. Adam Catterall, a friend of Tom Aspinall's, was to interview him, and Jon Jones just walks out of the room, says, I know I'm going to get a bunch of Aspinall questions. I don't want to deal with this. He says it's going to be an Aspinall fest. So he didn't do the interview with Adam. So Adam later tweeted, received a lot of messages today. He appreciates, he says, I appreciate it if you do this job properly. You will at times run into moments of friction. I have no problem with anyone disagreeing with my point of view on a subject, and always welcome constructive discourse. We can agree to disagree. It isn't personal ever. Yes, I have friendships in fight sports, but they do not cloud the way I approach my work. He says, I respect Jon and all the athletes I'm fortunate to speak to and about, and I look forward to one day sitting down with him and reflecting on a sensational career. So I thought a very classy statement by Adam, because if you're Jon Jones, I think you're pretty out of line not doing that interview. As far as I know, Adam has never done anything to specifically slight Jon Jones or discuss Jon Jones in an unprofessional manner. And I think Jones just walking out like that was pretty unprofessional. So that's my opinion. If you guys don't care, I understand too. Savas Klub says Jon shot himself in the foot this week with all the Tom stuff. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if his Tom Aspinall comments are even among the 5 most obnoxious things that Jon Jones has said this week. If you have had the misfortune of watching Jon Jones at the press conference,
someone.
We're back,
It'll probably
AK.
just be like this untalked about thing that's just like that's crazy.
The stream is back. 100 and people
Okay.
stuck around to watch the stream.
Part of the school.
thank you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Holler if you hear me.
They still get
Holler if
trucks.
you hear me. Thank you for sticking around, guys. I can only imagine what the
Really
scene was
appreciate it.
like down.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think
It's another day at UFC official lines.
Sing to the stream.
next
Would you like to sing?
I can't sing, but I want you to sing.
I can't sing either.
Sing Rewrite the Stars by Zac Efron and Zendaya.
Right now we're waiting.
I don't know
for
that
brother
song.
to-
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around. Jose, do you have the graphic on screen? Did I
We
send
had
you? No.
we,
Are we-
no,
are
you
we-
were building it and then Bo Nickal walked out.
Yes, that sounds right. Okay, the last one I sent you should be good. If you check, I think.
Un
I believe
minuto.
that's the most. Yeah, we'll have an update for you guys. Thank you again, everyone who stuck around. People popping back in, I see. That's great, guys. Thank you so much. Callum says Tom by ground and pounds. Nadia Shirada wants to know if there's a fight between Francis and Tom, who will win? I would pick Tom Aspinall. Again, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I think most of the guys in the MMA fighting staff will tell you Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight in the world. This interim thing doesn't matter. He is the best current active heavyweight. The only heavyweight I'm not picking Tom to beat is Jon Jones. And maybe Jelton Almeida because I'm a jerk. But realistically, just Jon Jones. That's how good I think Tom is right now.
Big if true.
This is what's so, and you again, I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys know this is what's so annoying. It's not that we think like, oh, Tom will destroy Jon Jones. That's why we want to see this fight. It's because the fight is so competitive. It's because we want to see how good Tom really is. Jon Jones would be favored going to that fight. I think Jon Jones would it be at least a 2-1 favorite. I think minus 200. And I'm probably underselling it. I'm not a gambling expert, but he would be at least a 2-1 favorite, which is significant. He is a minus 650 favorite against Stipe. That's enormous, again, for a fight that's being billed as two legends. I know Stipe hasn't fought in years and is, of course, on the other side of 40. So he would be favored against Tom Aspinall for sure. Now would that line move? Yeah, almost definitely. I think you have a lot of Aspinall bettors, so it would probably hover. If I move to like minus 175 and then probably bounce back when people say the favorite odds for Jon drop, so it would be back. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see. That's why we want to know, not because we think Jon would destroy Tom or Tom would destroy Jon, but because we want to know the answer. And I'm fine with Jon Jones fighting Stipe. It should have happened a year ago, but it's okay. I'd love to see Jon Jones fight Alex Pereira.
Ridiculously heavy case.
But of those three fights, if I had to pick one,
One stand.
I would pick Jon Jones versus Tom
It won't be
Aspinall.
like that, right?
And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I don't know. I'm pretty annoyed by the situation, guys. You can tell. We've written MMA fighting. We've written. You guys have seen our website.
One big case.
it's been all Jake Paul and it's been all Jon Jones. I've probably written about this like 12 different Jon Jones articles this week, and I don't know how many times I can reframe what the man is doing with what he says in the mic, what he says about Tom Aspinall, and I hope when this fight week is over, I mean, I know there'll be an aftermath to it. Will probably be at least another week of Jon Jones said this, Jon Jones said that, Tom Aspinall said this, Tom Aspinall said that. But hopefully it'll die down, and either Jones retires or we get Jones Aspinall. I still think it's possible, guys. I'm really, really hoping for a long shot that Jones like beats Miocic and just kind of laughs into the microphone and says, "Where you at, Tom?" And like,
right, let's see where that plays.
He was just messing with him all along. He was messing with all of us all along. I know I'm probably asking for too much.
Yes, 100%.
I think it's at 6. As long as it's close, that message.
Who do you guys think is going to weigh in next? We're waiting on Jon Jones. We're waiting on James Llontop. James Llontop, again, another guy kind of stepping in on short notice. I think it's about 2 weeks. He's stepping in for Charlie Campbell.
Yep.
Yes. And that is again, that is a 165-pound bout.
We get the interviews before the weigh-in. Yeah, and then maybe I could sneak out and set up.
They'll probably give us Elliott.
Yeah, I can do one case. I'll just do backpack, case, camera. Going light.
If you guys have the chance, please catch up, if you've missed it, on some of the amazing MMA fighting coverage we've had this week. One of my favorite stories, probably Eryk Anders, who is stepping in to fight Chris Weidman, of course, on the prelims. A lot of eyeballs are going to be in that fight. I think that's probably the reason it's the second to last prelim and not on the main card. I think they want people in their seats earlier. They want people tuning in earlier. So that's why Jim Miller also on the prelims. I think you'll have a lot of people want to see them live. So it'll be a good visual, right? I mean, when they switch to, well, not on ESPN. The prelims aren't on ESPN. Prelims are on ESPN News, ESPN Plus, FX, and Hulu. But either way, when they switch over, they're going to want to see more crowded seats in there. And so Chris Weidman will bring the eyeballs. Weidman is fighting Eryk Anders. Anders, you guys know, has been pretty workmanlike in the UFC, winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. I think his record is actually 8-9 or 9-8. 8-8, excuse me. Eryk Anders, 8-8, 1 no contest. Pretty steady output, fighting 2 or 3 times a year since he made his debut. He spoke to MMA Fighting's Mike Heck, and he said he had a pretty serious issue with drugs, with just partying too much, with just not focusing on his career. He's 37 now. Beautiful. We got the graphic on screen. Thank you, Jose. Eryk Anders. Again, he's 37. I'm not saying that he's changed his habits and suddenly this makes him a world champion or a contender, but most importantly, you're going to be happy. You got to be happy for a guy who's saying he's made some major positive changes in his life. And if that makes him a better fighter, great. If it doesn't, you be happy for him anyway, right? And he's got a pretty workable matchup with Chris Weidman. I'm going to check the odds here. I assume Weidman is favored, but I could be wrong. No, I'm seeing Eryk Anders as a slight favorite at -170 on Tapology. So if you guys are a believer in the All-American, you can get Chris Weidman at dog money right now. Don't bet on MMA, as I always say. Don't bet on MMA. But if you must, I don't think Weidman's a terrible underdog pick. I'm not betting, so don't listen to me. I'm not putting my money where my mouth is. This is just me talking. Never gamble on MMA, and if you do, definitely don't take gambling advice from me. Eryk Anders' favorite, great story there. Great interview by my best friend, Mike Heck. All right, guys, I'm going to do a little rain dance here. You can see the graphic on screen. Let's all read this together. If you're at home, guys, let's start reading this together. I'm going to count to 3, and then we're all going to start reading together. I'll count to 5. All right, you ready, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jon Jones has not weighed in yet. Stipe Miocic has weighed in 248.6. The backup for the main event, Tom Aspinall, 254.8. Lightweight co-main event, Charles Oliveira, 155.6. Michael Chandler, 155.6.
No,
Featured middleweight bout, Bo Nickal, undefeated, 185.4.
Yeah, exactly. We don't.
Paul Craig,
No, it's
186.
always-
Flyweights, Viviane Araujo, and Karine Silva. Araujo, 125.6. Silva, 125.8. Mauricio Ruffy has weighed in for the
And yeah, look at the
catch
that
weight
makes sense that they would use it.
opening bout, main card bout, 164.4. Still waiting on James Llontop.
Sure.
Closing out the prelims, Jonathan Martinez, 135.8. His opponent, Marcus McGhee, 135.6. Chris Weidman, 186. Eryk Anders, 185.6. Jim Miller, 45th UFC appearance, 155.6 for his fight with Damon Jackson, usually a featherweight, but coming in today, 155.2. David Onama, 155.6. Short notice opponent, Roberto Romero, 155. Heavyweights, Marcin, Tybura, Jhonata, Diniz, 251, 253.2, respectively. Mickey Gall, 170.8. He fights Ramiz. Brahimaj, 170.2. We have yet to see either Oban, Elliott, or Basel Heves for their matchup, so that matchup is far from official. And opening the prelims, flyweights Veronica Hardy and Eduardo Mora. Hardy, 125.8. Mora, 125.2. I see Poetan on the prowl for his prey, asking, Llontop is seriously struggling to make 11 pounds above his scheduled weight. I mean, listen, they probably had to change the weight in general because we don't know what Llontop was walking around at before he got the call. I would hope it's not like 180 pounds or something. But again, cutting weight is difficult. We hope James Llontop is doing well, and we hope he can make the catch weight at 165. Because again, he is taking this fight on pretty short notice, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So not making excuses. Not making excuses if he misses. You know, we hate to see people miss weight. But let's have a little patience with James Llontop. We don't know the circumstances, and who knows? Maybe he tried to cut an extraordinary amount of weight and just isn't doing great right now.
Yeah, I'll put him on when I get back.
This is the day.
Was it? Yeah. See, I know. I'll need to sneak into the next thing.
We were literally done in 25 minutes. In 27. From 9:27 to 4 p.m.
All right, guys, just get into a little very unnecessary gambling talk again. Looks like we've settled in pretty much 66% saying Jon Jones will win the UFC 309 main event. It's been fluctuating between 64%, 66%, but I think you get the idea. 2 out of every 3 people is going to be picking Jon Jones. This is actually less suggestive in favor of Jones than the minus 650 odds. Minus 650 odds for Jones imply a 86% chance for Jones to win. So, sorry to bore you with math, but suffice to say, yes, Jones is expected to win. Jones. On Tapology, even higher. On Tapology, which I think features a lot of pretty knowledgeable users, 88% are predicting a Jon Jones victory, 37% predicting a knockout, 39% predicting submission, 24% predicting decision win for the truly undefeated Jon Jones.
Who'd you hear it from? Cortez? Before or after everything happened? Let's see if I can find it. This was the last time I saw Corey.
All right, guys, I've done a poll. Who wins the UFC 309 co-main event between Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler? Oliveira, of course, won their first meeting. It's very, very exciting fight. Chandler did not embarrass himself in that fight. He had Oliveira hurt early, but Oliveira, as he has so much of the later stage of his career, showing some resilience and just firing back. Probably one of the 10 best offensive fighters in all of MMA. and sure enough, he takes Chandler out. We kind of got this rematch out of nowhere. As you guys might have heard, Michael Chandler was at one point supposed to fight Conor McGregor, like for real.
No way.
Michael Chandler was chasing that fight for a long time. A lot of people said he couldn't get it. Him and Conor then coached on The Ultimate Fighter opposite one another. That didn't guarantee they'd be booked to fight, but clearly that was the plan. It still took a while after the season of The Ultimate Fighter ended for that fight to actually be booked. UFC 303. Conor had a bit of an issue with his foot. He had to pull out, and we all had, that fight. I don't know if it's going to be rebooked. It seems unlikely. Conor is also involved in a civil case right now revolving sexual assault allegations from 2021. Again, these are not new allegations. You guys have probably, if you've kept track of any of McGregor's legal issues, this was a story that came out at the end of 2021, early 2022. It was not, I believe it did not go to trial in criminal court. And he was never, if I recall, was never charged for that. So this is now a civil case. This is the alleged victim seeking damages. Either way, very messy. You can read about that on MMAfighting.com, of course. You can also keep up with the incredible coverage being done in the Irish Mirror. The Irish Mirror is on site in Dublin. They've been providing day-to-day coverage, covering everyone's testimony, from doctors to authorities to, of course, the woman who is the alleged victim, who is suing Conor McGregor, to McGregor himself, who just testified the other day. So really awful, just an awful story, and very grisly details. So I guess I would also warn people about some of the testimony there. It's pretty grotesque. It's pretty grotesque. And if any of it is true, frankly, I do not care if Conor McGregor ever fights again. But anyway, Michael Chandler moved on, and he was booked in a fight with Charles Oliveira. A rematch I don't know if a lot of people were expecting. Again, the first fight was great, but pretty definitive for Do Bronx. But it was some time ago now. They're both top 10 lightweights. Why not? So let me guys know your thoughts on that matchup. Who you got? Do you guys like Charles Oliveira to win again? Is Michael Chandler going to win and land an unlikely title shot? He just seems to, with the exception of all this McGregor stuff, has been pretty good about being in the right place at the right time, delivering when the UFC needs it. And the UFC really likes him. They really like Michael Chandler. I don't know if you noticed. They push him quite a bit. So let me hear your thoughts.
What's up?
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, just to be clear, yes, regarding the McGregor case, the alleged victim was advised not to. She was advised there was not enough physical evidence to convict, so she's gone for civil charges. So there you go, guys. It's again a nasty scene. Follow it on MMAfighting.com. Definitely follow it on the Irish Mirror. Again, Irish Mirror has been providing daily updates. We have been providing recaps. Of course, we were waiting for Conor McGregor to testify, and he did. And Conor McGregor has denied all the accusations. Michael, do we keep the same energy for convicted rapist who never once apologized, Mike Tyson? Hells yeah. I don't think Mike Tyson is a good person at all. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I know a lot of Mike Tyson fans out there. I think Mike Tyson is bad. I think Mike Tyson's bad. I think Jake Paul's bad. I will be watching tonight, guys. For listen, I'm working for MMA Fighting. We are covering the event wall to wall. So if you don't want to watch, as I always say, just follow us at MMA Fighting instead. You don't have to watch the fight. But honestly, I probably would watch the fight anyway. It is a curiosity. Having them put the fight on Netflix was a master stroke. I don't know what Netflix had to pay Most Valuable Promotions and Jake Paul and Mike Tyson and whoever to get the rights to this fight. But it is going to get a lot of eyeballs, because if this was a pay-per-view, it would probably do well. I don't think it would do amazing. I don't think it's like breaking records or anything. I think it would do fine. But you'd have a lot of people who would balk at spending, I don't know what, $40, $50, $60, $70 even to watch what is a farce of a matchup. But you put it on Netflix, which again is in whatever, 800 million homes or something, and all you have to do is press a couple of buttons and the fight is right there. People are going to watch. I'm going to watch. Pretty curious with you guys. Not like whether you think the fight is good, just will you tune in? East Coast Minis says, after interview with Jon Jones about Aspinall, I do feel like he's Aspinall and feels confident in beating Miocic, but I think he's underestimating Miocic.
If DC's at
I,
the arena,
I will
was
still...
to do this thing.
I love calling Jon Jones a duck, and I do think he's ducking the Aspinall matchup. I will stop short of saying Jon Jones is scared to fight. I don't think Jon Jones is scared of any fighter. I don't see why he would be. Again, he's maybe the greatest fighter of all time. It would be a calculated risk to fight Tom Aspinall. I do think he knows Stipe is a considerably easier fight than Aspinall at this stage of everyone's careers. As far as Alex Pereira goes, Alex probably has a little more pull, a little more draw here with the year he's had, with how well he's done winning titles in 2 divisions, being a knockout artist. When I speak to people who kind of casually watch MMA, I think it's outside of, again, like McGregor and names like that, Alex Pereira is like the name that comes up the most. So there's cachet there for sure. So I understand that. I think, again, if he was a little bit younger, I think Jones would welcome the fight with Aspinall. He does know his time is limited, and if he has only 2 fights left, one of them is going to be Stipe on Saturday, and it makes sense for him to want to fight Pereira. I'm not as curious about that fight. I'm really not. I want the Aspinall fight. Let's all put our positive energy out there and hope that Jones sticks around for at least 3 more fights, including Saturday, and that one of those fights is Tom Aspinall. Because I'll tell you right now, if he never fights Tom Aspinall, there's no way I would have Jon Jones #1 on my pound-for-pound all-time list. I don't have him there right now. If you're giving me a list of who I think would win in a fight all-time in their primes, I pick Jon Jones. But if you're going by like accolades and achievements, I still have GSP up there #1. I would arguably put... There's a lot of people I'd arguably put ahead of Jon Jones. But Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva is a great example. For me, Jon Jones is just not the #1 fighter right now. That said, if he beat Tom Aspinall, at his age right now, Jon Jones he turned 37 this year. If he makes up for that, if he could make up for that age and size and youth gap, I would be amazed, and it would really strengthen Jones's case to be #1. So his legacy is not defined by the Aspinall fight. If Jon Jones never fights Aspinall, he is still unequivocally one of the 5 greatest fighters of all time. Your 5 may look a little different. If you want to be really, really specific and hardcore, maybe you can keep him out of the top 5. Fine, maybe you've got Fedor in there. Maybe you've got Aldo in there. Maybe you've got DJ. Maybe you've got Khabib. So you can make a list without Jon Jones in the top 5. But based on everything he's done, I think that's a little difficult to do. And again, whether he fights Tom Aspinall or not, that does not affect what he's done. But he can make his legacy even stronger. I'd say way, way, way stronger if he actually beat the #1 heavyweight in the world, something that he has not done. The American brother. What's up, the American brother? What's happening now? Are we just waiting around? Yeah, we're just waiting around. Again, the UFC recently had implemented a change to the weigh-ins in like Las Vegas and some other areas. They did it in Edmonton too, I believe, which I really like, which is where instead of it being a straight 2-hour window, it's 2 1-hour windows, with the first window being where fighters can show up, weigh in, and if they miss, the second window is for them to make another attempt. That to me made a lot of sense. It saved a lot of time, and we had some pretty quick weigh-ins. We had some weigh-ins, many of them done within the first hour. If it went over the hour, it usually barely went over. It was like maybe an hour and 15, and that was great, very fun. I mean, I love hanging out the weigh-in chat with you guys, but we all got things to do, and we all got stories to write and stories to tell and all that stuff. Now, in New York today, they are going back to the weigh-ins that had been used for a long time. Straight up 2-hour window. You do not have to weigh in the first. If you show up in the second window, I don't know, and you miss weight, I don't know what the case is, but usually that means they'll consult a doctor, they'll consult the commission, and probably get extra time to weigh in. So, unfortunately, yes, that means someone could show up at like 1 hour and 55 minute into the weigh-in window, and if they miss but are within like 0.5, they'll probably get time to weigh in, and you guys are gonna have to keep your eyes peeled on MMAfighting.com for updates. But anyway, long story short, no. Yes, we are just waiting around for 4 more people. Jon Jones, James Llontop, Oban Elliott, Basil Hafez. So guys, if you're out there, come to the weigh-ins. Similar to the main event, we have 65% picking one fighter, that fighter being Charles Oliveira. I'm kind of with you guys. I'm actually surprised this isn't a little higher. Anyone on there? If you are picking Chandler, what is your argument for Chandler? Other than the fact, I mean, Chandler's a very good fighter. He's got knockout power. He hurt Charles in the first fight, but Charles won. So this time around, what are you seeing? Why do you think Michael Chandler will even the score? And tell me, does Michael Chandler get a title fight if he puts on an impressive performance? Let's say he knocks Charles Oliveira out first round, second round, cuts a good promo. Does he get the winner of the Islam Makhachev Arman Tsarukyan fight, which is still to be booked, by the way? Seeing a lot of comments about Jones. Guys, I would not worry about Jones's weigh-in. Again, he's a heavyweight now. He doesn't come close to the limit. He has 2 hours to work with. He does not have to come in the first. The first hour is already over. There's 40 minutes left. I understand that's a long time. He's probably enjoying a good breakfast, guys. Probably thinking of some passive-aggressive tweets that he can fire out later today and then later delete. You know, it's a busy time being Jon Jones. So. Oh, thank you, Poton the Proud. That's right. We are also getting the old gloves back. Jon Jones said he trained with them, didn't like them. Dana White said it wasn't just Jon Jones. Dana White said other fighters have also complained about the new gloves. So not only are they back for UFC 309, according to Dana, the new gloves are gone. Or what were the new gloves, and I guess now they're the old gloves. The old gloves, the new gloves again.
The new gloves are the old gloves.
The new gloves are gone. The colors are gone, which I thought was kind of a cool idea. I know a lot of people love the black UFC gloves, which is fine. I think that was cool. You know, if you stick with black, can't go wrong with black UFC gloves. They look fantastic. But I thought it was a good idea. You had blue for Contender Series. You had red for, like, Road to UFC. Gold for the title fights. I didn't mind it. I just thought it was kind of a neat idea, but I won't miss them that much. You know, it's not a tragedy. It's not like, oh, how could the UFC abandon this idea? Yeah, it's fine. The colors were cool. Again, and they can always change their mind if they want to make special colored gloves. They make special colored gloves. It just won't be a uniform thing now. Yeah, very funny story though, considering how the hoopla they made introducing these new gloves, and apparently they just didn't do their job. I should tell people 2 things. One, a lot of people were saying, oh, they didn't reduce eye pokes, and this was like weirdly reported because if you watch the original press conference and you watch the original, just anything what was written press release about the gloves, they did not specify that the new gloves were to reduce eye pokes. I may be mistaken, guys. I may be mistaken, but I did write a lot about the gloves. It was mentioned because it was asked. Someone asked, will these gloves lower the amount of eye pokes? And whoever, the engineer or whoever it was that was doing the interview, he'd said, oh, we have tried to keep track of that. We don't have the data to see it's reducing eye pokes, but it wasn't really the main goal. The main goal was to reduce hand injuries. I don't know how well it did with that. I didn't keep track of that. So, but that was the main goal: reduce hand injuries. I think they wanted to reduce cuts as well. I think the idea was, they don't want fights any cuts, so it's supposed to reduce hand injuries and facial cuts. And the second main thing I want to say is, I know there's people out there who had data on like knockouts, less knockouts from these new gloves, but it's a bit weird because those knockouts include like ground and pound TKOs, head kicks. Like, did you remove head kick knockouts from the data? Maybe some people did. I don't think everyone did. And the other thing is, let's be real here. The card quality has kind of been down on some of these fight nights. And I don't think it would have mattered what gloves the fighters wore. I don't think
was like, huh.
like the fighters would necessarily have knocked each other out. Maybe it would have made a difference, but we don't have enough data. Like we just didn't use the new gloves for long enough. Let me quickly just check, guys. When did the new gloves get introduced? Let's see here. April 2024. April 2024. So, and they weren't introduced right away. They were introduced at UFC 302 in May. In May. So sorry, the very start of June. So we're working with, I mean, about 6 months. About 6 months of data, which for some people may say is enough. I think you need at least a year. But people seem to, again, strong. There's a lot of people who didn't like the new gloves, and it didn't help that right after the gloves were introduced, we did have a few really poor fighters just were not getting knocked out. So it was very easy to blame the gloves. And again, maybe it is the gloves' fault. I think it's really just the quality of fighters they've had on, the quality of the matchups. Either way, we did not have enough data. Nathan Ray, thank you for the super chat. Nathan writes, let's be honest. Jake beats old man Mike Tyson. Stipe takes Jon Bones Jones 0. Wow. What a parlay that would be. Chandler is going to gorilla smash Charles. Oh. Bo Nickal is going to eat the no hands Scotsman. Oh, well, love those predictions, Nathan. So we'll remember that you're going Jake Paul, you're going Stipe Miocic, Michael Chandler, and Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal, a heavy favorite, of course, as he always is. See the biggest favorite on the card. He is. That's right. I should have known this. My colleagues were talking about this on a show previously. Bo Nickal, depending where you look, I'm just going by Tapology. Minus 1,000 favorites over a fighter with much more experience. An older fighter, certainly. Paul Craig coming at 36 years old. A fighter on a losing streak. He has lost his last 2. 4 of his last 5. But Paul Craig can be a bit of a spoiler. Let's not forget. Here's some of Paul Craig's wins. Magomed Ankalaev. March 17th, 2018. A fight that Ankalaev was really dominating for really almost the entire 14 minutes of the fight. And taps out to triangle choke at the very last second. That fight and that finish do not get talked enough. That was one of the most, well, I guess it's more retrospective, but one of the most shocking submissions in UFC history now that we know how good Magomed is. Because Magomed has not lost since then. He had the draw with Blachowicz, and that's about it. Otherwise, he should have won that fight. He had a lapse at the end, gets tapped out by Paul. He went on a streak, and I don't know if the UFC's held that loss against him. But anyway, big win for Paul Craig a long time ago. Taps out Magomed Ankalaev. A win is a win, I say. Split draw with Shogun. And then later beat Shogun in a rematch. He beat Jamal Hill really definitively, too. I don't know if you guys remember that. This is June 2021. Broke his arm first and then just punched the crap out of him. So Paul Craig has some big wins. But that was a while ago. That was 3 years ago. He's in a slump. Bo Nickal looks like an incredible prospect. I think the odds are fair. Again, I wouldn't bet them. What's the point? It's minus 1,000. But if you're just curious, is this a little bit of an overhype? Are we going too far with Bo Nickal? Again, toughest opponent yet. I think the number's right where it is. Paul Craig, plus 650 underdog. What do you guys think about Bo Nickal in general? I asked this on a morning report, and I feel like I should throw up a poll. Let's throw up a poll now, actually. I'm very curious what you guys think. You guys are smart. We can close this poll. Again, turned out the same as the main event. 66% were picking Jon Jones to beat Stipe Miocic. Right now, I see 63 or 64% picking Charles Oliveira to win his rematch with Michael Chandler, to beat Michael Chandler again. Let's go to a new poll question here. One moment, guys. Guys, let's get to the real. Let's get to what everyone really wants to talk about. Who ends up having a more successful career? Will it be Bo Nickal or will it be Khamzat Chimaev? Khamzat, obviously a bit ahead here with some of the wins he has. That win over Robert Whittaker was unbelievable. Hard-fought win over Kamaru Usman. Very, very, very close fight. Great brawl with Gilbert Burns. That one I don't think is as controversial. I think the Usman fight is pretty controversial. I think you could definitely make a case Usman won. Gilbert Burns, he like faded late, and I think he'll forget like one, how great that fight was, and two, like how good like Hamza looked in a lot of those moments, and what a big step up in competition Gilbert Burns was. I think he went from like fighting unranked guys to Gilbert, who was like number 3 or number 4 ranked at the time. So that's a great fight. So Hamza obviously a little bit ahead of Bo here. Bo getting his first real true veteran test on Saturday. But Bo is younger, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, he's got a little bit more ways to go as far as experience. So their careers are not parallel. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're not, I mean, they're parallel, but they're not like lined up. They're different points in their career, different stages, right? So it'd be nice if, you know, they debuted around the same time, had around the same amount of experience. They don't. But they've got plenty of hype around them. Again, Bo is, I don't think it's exaggeration to say, one of the 10 most hyped MMA prospects ever. Just a guy with, again, the extensive collegiate wrestling background, 3-time NCAA champion. And then you add in the fact that, like, he's done it the right way. He's pretty committed to MMA. It's something he had been wanting to do for a while. It wasn't like, oh, I'm done with my wrestling career, I guess I'll do MMA. It's like he was in talks while he was, while he was dominating the NCAA. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting to think about him and where him and Hamza can go. And if they could fight each other someday, I think it'd be great. So we got 2/3 majority here. Khamzat Chimaev, 65% right now. Let's see some more votes come in. Mark R. Harsh. Bo will get hand-fed until he gets chinned and forgotten about. That's harsh, but I am curious. You know, we haven't really seen Bo face too much adversity. And again, that's to his credit. He takes the fight to his opponents. He doesn't give them a chance to do anything. So you can criticize, we haven't got to see him, defensively too much. We haven't seen if he can take a shot. Yeah, well, I mean, if he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to. Mark R. pretty confident. It sounds like he voted for Khamzat. Is anyone in the comments picking Paul Craig to get the win? Let me know, guys. So notice I didn't do a Paul Craig or Bo Nickal poll because it'd be about 90% Nickal, I'm imagining. See what other facts we got going on in this matchup. Paul Craig making his 19th UFC appearance. He's 9-8-1, just 1-2 at middleweight. I mentioned those big wins he had before. Those, of course, were 205-pound contest guys, so maybe not super relevant to what we're going to see on Saturday, or what we're going to see going forward in Paul Craig's career. Excuse me. But again, I think he's a legitimate test. Nickal's last win was Cody Brundage, a tough guy, but one of those fighters that they usually go in there to make other fighters look good. I don't know if Craig is quite in that range yet, but he has lost 4 of his last 5. So maybe the UFC sees him as someone that can be a showcase opponent for Nickal. Don't tell Paul Craig that, though. I'm sure he does not feel the same way. We are at 30. We are under 30 minutes now, guys. Again, I'm not worried about Jon. Other guys. I would be worried about James Llontop. I would be worried about Oban Elliott and Basel Hafez, guys. So we're going to do a little rain dance here. Let me look at your comments first. Warren Bashan. Thank God I didn't spend $500 on a pair of new gloves in Edmonton 2 weeks ago. No, Warren, you should have.
What are you looking for?
Those bad boys
James
buy
Jones
collector's items right now. If you, I bet you could have bought like a pair. I don't know what they had. If they had like blue gloves and red gloves, but assuming they're not manufacturing them anymore, that $500 could have. I don't know if someone's trying to get those in the future. You could probably get a pretty decent return on that investment. So, Warren, you should have gotten the new gloves. Derek McKay says, smart to lay a few dollars on Craig with those odds. Again, guys, I don't know. Those odds are there for a reason, man. Those odds are there for a reason. So, yeah, and of course it looks tempting to put $5 on a plus 650 underdog, but it's plus 650 underdog. You may as well throw $5 out the window. So, yeah, if you gamble, please gamble for fun, guys. Do not gamble your life savings away.
I could fall asleep right now. It's very cold in this room too.
East Coast Mini, where are the weigh-ins? Listen, we got 25 minutes left. Yeah, I got the same question. Let's do a little rain dance here. Let's see if we can shake someone loose. Okay, guys. So we are waiting on 4 fighters. One of them being, yes, Jon Jones, the UFC heavyweight champion, the disputed UFC heavyweight champion. We have not seen him yet. His opponent, 2-time heavyweight champion, the record holder for the most successful title defenses in UFC heavyweight history, Stipe Miocic. He weighed in 248.6. The backup for the fight weighed in, one Mr. Tom Aspinall, 254.8. In the co-main event, Charles Oliveira meets Michael Chandler in a rematch. Oliveira already having one up on Chandler, but we'll see if Chandler can even the score. They both weighed in at 155.6 pounds. Bo Nickal came in at 155.4 for his fight with Paul Craig. Paul Craig at 186. We just talked about that fight a lot. Flyweights on the main card. Viviane Araujo and Karine Silva. Karine Silva streaking right now. Gets herself a top... where is Araujo in our rankings? I believe she's top 10 in the UFC rankings.
That's not real.
And in our rankings, she would be number 12. But top 10 in the UFC rankings for sure. So Araujo, tough veteran. Karine Silva, 4-0 in the UFC, 18-4 overall. She won a decision over Ariane De Silva, the former Ariane Lipski last time. And that was the first, she's won 10 in a row in total. That was the first time she didn't win a fight by knockout or submission. So Karine Silva, definitely one to watch. But yes, they both successfully weighed in. Mauricio Ruffy weighed in 164.4. That's a 165-pound catch weight out. Jose says there's movement. Did I shake someone loose? Did the rain dance work, guys? I see people.
It is John.
All right, next fighter to the scale is the gentleman around whom this entire fight card was built, the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world and the consensus greatest mixed martial arts athlete of all time, Jon Bones Jones.
I'm so sorry, guys. Oh my goodness.
237.6, the official weight for the champ, the native New Yorker, Jon Bones Jones. And with that, your main event for UFC 309 is official.
Let's go. Yeah. You a tiger? Oh, nice. Beautiful area.
In case you guys couldn't hear, that was 237.6 for Jon Jones. And as John Anik said, the main event of UFC 309 is now official.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim on ESPN Plus in the welterweight division, Basil Hafez. $171, the official weight for Basil Hafez.
Basil Hafez, 171. Right at the limit. We'll see if we get some more people coming up here again. We are running a little bit short on time. We're almost down to the 20-minute mark. 20 minutes remaining, I should say.
To the scale,
but yes, Jon Jones successfully weighed in.
Welterweight division, Basil's opponent, the Welsh gangster Oban Elliott. $170 on the nose, the official weight for Oban Elliott.
There it is.
There was one.
That was 170 for Oban Elliott. Dank Hobbs did the duck weigh in. Dank, I don't know who you're talking about. I will say we did just see Jon Jones weigh in. He weighed in at 237.6. I'll let you know if this duck shows up weigh in, but Jon Jones, 237.6. I can't imagine what duck you're referring to. We are now waiting on only one fighter. Again, a guy taking this fight on about 2 weeks' notice, James Llontop. His bout with Mauricio Ruffy is a catchweight bout. So we will see, guys. We will see. I'm going to continue the rain dance here because that's actually where I left off. We had Mauricio Ruffy come in 164.4, waiting on James Llontop, the last fighter of the day. Bantamweight bout, Jonathan Martinez at 135.8, Marcus McGhee 135.6. That's a great fight. Chris Weidman, 186. First fight with Eryk Anders, 185.6. Make sure you read my best friend. I kind of just said my friend. My best friend, Mike Heck's interview with him on MMA Fighting. Jim Miller, 155.6 for UFC appearance 45. He fights Damon Jackson, who came in at 155.2. David Onama, 155.6. His short notice opponent, Roberto Romero, 155. Roberto stepping in for Lucas Almeida. Was originally set to be a featherweight bout, bumped up to a lightweight to accommodate a new fighter. Marcin Tybura, 251. His opponent, Jhonata Diniz, who was supposed to fight Derek Lewis at UFC Edmonton, gets a turnaround here instead, 253.2. New Jersey's Mickey Gall, 170.8. He fights New York's Ramiz Brahimaj, 170.2. We just saw Oban, Elliott, and Basel Hafez. Elliott at 170, Hafez at 171. And opening the prelims, Veronica Hardy putting her 3-fight win streak on the line against Eduardo Mora. Hardy, 125.8. Mora, 125.2. Guys, I'm going to try and get a new graphic up there, and we will see if we can get James Llontop to show up, because this is this could be bad if he doesn't make it. We should say Llontop has missed weight once. He missed by half a pound for his UFC debut against Chris Padilla the past April. He lost that fight by rear naked choke in the first round. He then fought Vyacheslav Borshev and lost a split decision, but he did successfully make weight for that fight. So 10 extra pounds to work with here. Let's see if Ruffy can get it. Excuse me, if Llontop can get it. Ruffy, we just already said.
Let it get him up to it even. See the Mike Tyson being interviewed by that kid?
Yeah.
Did she ask what his legacy to be? Oh my god. He goes into say how legacy doesn't matter because he's going to be dead. He's going to be dust. He's not going like a 12-year-old.
Like a young kid. Yeah.
He drops a couple F-bombs in there. It's the funniest thing. He knows the Asian person is like this.
It is a true.
Type of legacy.
Teachable moments for Mike Tyson.
They are moving the box of redemption as we speak, AK.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, that's not surprising. Like we said, I think
It was literally
James
about to
Llontop.
post your graphic, and then that popped up.
Yeah.
I'll
No problem. Here we go. Everyone in the chat, throw up some emojis for James Llontop. Throw up some box emojis or cardboard box. Throw up a cardboard box emoji, guys, for James Llontop, and let's hope he can make weight here, because he's trying to save this fight. we still got a bit of time here, guys. We got 15 minutes. I imagine, again, James Llontop taking his time. Hopefully medically okay. We've had, guys, you've seen a lot of times at weigh-ins. A fighter takes a long time to weigh in. They need the box of redemption. They make it, but, you know, by the next day, they don't pass the medical, right? I mean, clearly they're putting their body through something just to be able to make the weight. So hopefully everything's okay with James Llontop and all the fighters who weighed in today, right? We got to get rid of extreme weight cutting. It's just such a stupid thing, but it's never going to happen in my lifetime, so.
Waiting for the on top.
She's not a real person.
For those of you wondering, again, so Jones was at 237.6, Stipe 248.6, so 11-pound weight difference for Stipe. Not surprising that Stipe, you know, the career heavyweight, is a little bigger than Jones. For Jones's fight with Ciryl Gane, I'm pretty sure Jones was also the lighter. No, wait a minute. You know what? Let's not talk out of my butt here. Let's just go back and look. Jones was the slightly heavier fighter against Ciryl Gane. He was a lot heavier than he is today. Jones officially weighed in for the Ciryl Gane fight 248, and just a little bit heavier than Gane, who was 247.5. I imagine on fight night probably wasn't too much of a difference either. Gane is like a big guy, but he's not like a hulking heavyweight. I think you know, he's a very agile and fast guy. It probably helps he's not packing on, like he's not walking around 265. That'd be scary if he was. He's like Brock Lesnar, just explosive at that weight. So yes, so John, quite a bit slimmer for the Stipe Miocic fight. He looks to be in really, really good shape, and you know, giving up some poundage, but I don't know if that's going to make a significant difference. If that changes your perspective on the fight at all, then so be it. Guys, do not spam the chat, please. I don't care what you're saying, but just don't spam. I mean, people are trying to have a conversation here. East Coast Minis wants to know, something happened to Llontop. Is there time to get another fighter or fight canceled? I mean, fight canceled. But again, if Dan Ige is hanging around, you never know what's going to happen, right? After the Dan Ige, Diego Lopez thing, buddy, all bets are off. I mean, I would have said that wasn't possible. I would have said there's no way that Diego would have got a new fight there. So yes, technically, it's possible, but I don't know. It's such a difficult thing to do. So yeah, should be canceled. So that would suck. Mauricio Ruffy, of course, part of the white hot Fighting Nerds team. We just saw Carlos Prates annihilate Neil Magny. We mentioned Kyle Bahalia before, is on a hell of a streak. Could be fighting for a title. Could be one win away from middleweight title shot. Great gimmick. A lot of people are talking about them. They put on exciting fights. And Ruffy was getting a pay-per-view main card opening slot, I assume, with the expectation that he would deliver a highlight reel knockout. Again, was originally supposed to fight Charlie Campbell. Instead, James Llontop in for the save. But we need James Llontop to weigh in. And that is not a guarantee. They've got the box of redemption. It's certainly not guaranteed that he makes the weight when it happens. So we are still waiting. We're still waiting for James Llontop. Just about a little over 10 minutes remaining. I'll give you guys a full rundown when these shenanigans are over. Again, Jon Jones and Stipe on weight, 237.6 for Jones, 248.6 for Stipe Miocic. Tom Aspinall, the backup, 254.8. So he'd be 17 pounds heavier than Jones if by some chance Miocic could not fight on Saturday. And if Jones accepted a fight with Tom Aspinall, that's the difference that would be. I'm just bringing it up to be a completionist. That's not going to happen. Jon Jones will not be fighting Tom Aspinall on Saturday. Okay, let's put it that way. They might fight someday in the future. I'm still optimistic. But if, fingers crossed, Stipe cannot compete on Saturday, you will not see Jones fight Aspinall. I don't know what they're going to do. Just have Chandler and Oliveira be the main event or something. But I'm going to close this poll too, guys. Pretty strong support for Khamzat, who ends up having a more successful career. 63% say Khamzat will have a better career than Bo Nickal. That is a little interesting to me. Again, considering Bo is the newer fighter, but young, the newer fighter and younger. Not that Khamzat is old, but younger. It's a little surprising to me. Not a few more Bo Nickal supporters. But hey, maybe you guys aren't even picking him to win Saturday. Like I said, tough test. Tough test. Not that a win ruins his career. No, a loss, excuse me. Not that a loss ruins Bo Nickal's career. Seen a lot of great fighters suffer losses early on and go on to have unbelievable careers. Yeah, we talked a little bit all the main card fights. We mentioned, Karine, Silva, Viviane, Araujo. Kind of a weird main card choice, but I get it. I like the flyweights are on the main card. I'm never going to complain. It's just a little. I'm pleasantly surprised, I guess would be the phrase, because we can barely get flyweights, men or women, on like fight night main cards. It seems like the UFC just never wants to push them, and then they put Viviane Araujo and Karine Silva on the pay-per-view portion of, their penultimate card of the year, pay-per-view event of the year, excuse me. When you could have had, again, some more well-known names. Chris Weidman could have been on the main card. Jim Miller could have been on the main card. They could have done what they always do and just screw it, throw another heavyweight fight on there, hoping there's a knockout. You could have had Tybura and Jhonata on there. But I said this earlier, they probably want fans to fill the seats before the pay-per-view, because that's the problem. Prelims, a lot of guys don't come until the top 5 fights, and you've got Jim Miller on the prelims, you got Chris Weidman on the prelims. You should be able to get
on pay-per-view at a catch weight of 165 pounds. Llontop. $166.2 for Llontop. That is 1.2 pounds over the catch weight limit.
Oh, brutal. 166.2 for James Llontop, guys. That is over the limit.
All right, thank you all for coming out for the official weigh-in for UFC 309. We will see you for the ceremonials later today.
That's a wrap, AK.
All right, you got to get out of there, Jose, or do you want to do a rundown here?
Do a little rundown.
Do a little rundown. Okay, let me send you this graphic real quick. You know what? We haven't had a chance to enjoy our graphics, so let's do it. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I'm going to shut up for a second, which you'll probably like, and I will send this to Jose real quick, and we'll get this done.
It'll give me time to whip up this full highlight video for our viewers and our subscribers.
15533. It's not in yet. It's just that's what it will be when it is. That's a wrap. But I'm talking about the beautiful. So what will this guy do? They just agree to some cash settlement and fight anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what will that cost? 20K? Sorry? So how much would he be out? Because he missed 20,000? Yeah. Good deal. If you're already fighting at a catch weight, I want your opponent to miss by a
There you go, Eryk.
All right,
Do your
guys.
thing.
Yep, there we go. Okay, guys, let's just do a quick recap here. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you, everyone who stuck around. I know we had some technical difficulties. I know you got to listen to me yapping. You guys are the best. We love the listeners, love the viewers, love everyone involved. Okay, guys, right at the top of the card, we have ourselves a heavyweight championship main event. Jon Jones defending against Stipe Miocic. Jones 237.6, Stipe at 248.6. The backup, Tom Aspinall, also hit the mark, 254.8. Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler meet in a lightweight rematch in the co-main event, and both fighters successfully hit the mark at 155.6 pounds. Middleweights, Bo Nickal and Paul Craig. Nickal undefeated, 185.4, fights with the veteran Paul Craig, who came in at 186. We have flyweight action on the main card. Viviane Araujo at 125.6 versus Karine Silva, 125.8. Mauricio Ruffy. This fight is not official yet, guys. Mauricio Ruffy, 164.4. This is a 165-pound catchweight bout, so he made it. His opponent, who you guys just saw, James Llontop, unfortunately missed 166.2. And this isn't like other fights, guys, where, your normal weight classes where you get the 1 pound allowance. If a catchweight is just, if you agree on 165, whatever it is, 165, 164, 166, 168, that's the weight. There's no more 1 pound allowance. 168 doesn't mean 169, etc., etc. So Llontop had to come in 165 or under, did not make it, actually 166.2. He is 1.2 pounds over the limit for that contracted weight. It remains to be seen, will he take a purse penalty? Will the belt proceed as a catch weight? Will Ruffy and his team just say, screw it, we're not going to do it? And will Llontop be healthy enough to compete tomorrow? We'll find out. Prelims, Jonathan Martinez, Marcus McGhee. Jonathan Martinez, 135.8. Marcus McGhee, 135.6. Chris Weidman, 186. Eryk Anders, 185.6 for their preliminary middleweight bout. Jim Miller for UFC appearance number 45, a record, 155.6. He fights former featherweight, returning to lightweight now, Damon Jackson, 155.2. David Onama was 155.6. He fights Roberto Romero, who is coming in on less than a week's notice. Romero coming in at 155 pounds. Marcin Tybura, 251. Jhonata Diniz, 253.2. Preliminary heavyweight action. New Jersey's Mickey Gall, 170.8. He takes on New York's Ramiz Brahimaj, 170.2. We have more welterweights. Two of the later guys show up to the weigh-ins. Oban Elliott, championship weight, 170. Basel Hafez, 171. And then opening up the prelims, flyweights, Veronica Hardy and Eduardo Mora. Hardy, 125.8. Mora, 125.2. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the weigh-in show. I'm going to let Jose go. There will be ceremonial weigh-ins later today at 5 o'clock, and we will have a preview show not long from now. The UFC fight, the MMA fighting preview show for Jones vs. Miocic at 12 p.m. If you didn't see the Paul Tyson preview show, that's also up on our YouTube. Of course, that whatever fight is going on tonight. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Again, preview show in an hour. Make sure you tune in, leave your comments, bring your beautiful selves. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Jose, for bringing us the amazing video and audio.
Go Red Sox.
Watching. I'm not agreeing to that. Take care, everybody.
Peace.